what all important features for formal communication we discussed? It has a format, okay? It has a definite pattern. It has reflection of formal relations, okay? And also we can say that, uh, for example, just let me make you quick recall. See, all these basic features of formal communication we discussed, okay? That formal communication is always in writing or it is oral form of communication, okay? Non-verbal communication, that has less role in formal setup, okay? But although it is also part of, but it has less role to play in formal communication. Formal communication is always in writing or it happens through speaking. Now, it also reflects the formal relations, okay, of the employees, of the employer, okay, the other outside sources. They have a formal relationship among them. Now, prescribed path that we have discussed, then also the formal communication has the tone of organizational message. Okay, formal communication has the tone of or has the mix of organizational message. Okay, what is the common objective of the organization? That is always kept in mind in all the formal communications which happen in that organization in day-to-day life. Okay, all is in that direction, or all is complete work is in tune with that organizational message. And formal communication is a deliberate effort, okay? It means it is knowingly done, it is cautiously done, okay? It doesn't happen spontaneously, it is pre-planned, it is the resources are arranged, the timing is scheduled, and then the work happens, okay? So it is a deliberate effort. So these are the 5 important features of formal communication that we have discussed. Now, the later information, that is not that much important, as we have discussed a lot about all these directions of communication, okay? So formal communication happens in vertical direction, upward, and also formal communication happens at horizontal level, okay? There is a communication within or among the people of same level, and also the formal communication happens sometime in the cross direction, okay? In the cross direction channel also the formal communication happens. So all these directions of formal communication we have discussed a lot in earlier classes, so we will not repeat the same information. Now, very important information that we have to discuss today, that is advantages. Yes, students, am I audible and are you able to see the screen? Yes, screen दिखाई दे रहा है आपको?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
so now let us start the discussion of what are the advantages of formal communication. Advantages means what is the beneficial aspect, okay? What are the benefits? What are the positive, we can say, output of formal communication? So in that, the very first point we will check here, that is maintenance of authority of the officers, okay? Also offices. So see, with the formal communication, the official structure and the officer's authority is maintained. Why? Because we have discussed earlier that there is a hierarchy in the organization at a formal place, and that hierarchy has to be followed for various types of works, okay, or for various tasks. Clear? So because that hierarchy is maintained, so we can say that the authority of the officials, offices, and the officers is maintained in formal communication or through formal communication. Okay, suppose somebody has to meet manager in the same organization. Okay, so then also the person has to maintain the hierarchy. The person has to first take the appointment, then the person has to enter the office with permission only. Okay, uh, the person can't spontaneously enter into the office of the manager. Clear? And then also there should be a proper formal behavior of the person towards the manager while meeting. Okay, so this all means what? Maintenance of authority. So through formal communication, the maintenance of authority is continued, and this is needed for a smooth, we can say, for a smooth progress. Okay, for a smooth continuation of work in an organization. Otherwise what will happen? There could be a mess. Okay, there could be a lot of confusion, there could be diversions, there could be indiscipline. Okay, so this maintenance of authority of the officers, officials is continued through formal communication. Is this point clear? Is What is the benefit of this maintenance of authority in an organization or at a workplace? Because of this, the disciplinary environment is developed. Okay, and the work is regulated. Everybody does his or her work on time. Okay, in a proper manner, in a disciplined manner, and there is much productivity and much use of time. Okay, and there is we can say less diversion uh, in the uh, in the organization. Okay, so that is how this is a very important advantage, very important beneficial point of formal communication, that authority is maintained. Okay, and because of that authority of the officials and officers, disciplinary environment is maintained. Okay, and automatically the work is regulated in a proper manner. Okay, and there is we can say proper circulation of informations time to time because of this authority authoritative environment. Okay, that is the thing. And if somebody has some confusion regarding the informations, then also the person gets direction from the higher authorities and the person can do that work easily. So the higher authorities are there to help, higher authorities are there to guide. Clear? So that all is the beneficial aspect of formal communication. Now next one is clear and effective communication. See, formal communication has the clarity and has the effectivity in terms of message. How? How we can say this? As we have discussed earlier also, when we were discussing about effective communication, that if the person has the knowledge of the work, okay, and if the person has the linguistic competencies also, okay, the language which he chooses to express that information of his or her in relation to that task. Okay, and also the person has, if the organizational skill, okay, the systemization of the information, okay, if that is done by the person easily, okay, that systemization skill if the person has, then definitely that particular information will have the clarity. Okay, people will understand that information easily, and if that understanding, or we can say if that decoding by the receiver uh, is happening clearly, okay, is happening correctly, then it will convert into effective communication. Then result will be definitely as per the expectations, as per the planning. Okay, so that is the as formal communication, it uh, is an output of rigorous exercises, of rigorous efforts of many people altogether. So that is the reason it has all these competencies. Students, you can note down all these competencies for clear and effective communication. The first is subject competency. Okay, whatever core subject is there. Suppose I am teaching English. Okay, so I must have the knowledge of the subject English. Okay, subject as a subject English की knowledge मुझे होनी चाहिए. And if I am using English language for the expression, then English language की competency मुझ में होनी चाहिए. ठीक है, उसकी writing skills, उसकी speaking informations, correct speaking informations मुझे पता होनी चाहिए. Then only I can justify the work. And further, organization, suppose I have to teach you formal communication in English language. Okay, then I should have that competency to arrange the information in a particular order. Okay, so that you can understand that information. Suppose we are discussing about formal communication. So first we have to start with the definition. Okay, what is formal communication? Then we have to go for the features of formal communication. Then in what directions the formal communication happens. And finally, what are the beneficial and limiting aspects, limiting factors of this formal communication. Okay, so as this is the organization of the information. Okay, so this also requires lot of skill, uh, lot of we can say exercise, lot of expertise. Okay, then only that particular communication can convert into effective communication. Okay, so these are quite important. So first one is subject competency. सपोज आपने इलेक्ट्रिकल सॉरी आपने जैसे कंप्यूटर एप्लीकेशन ऑप्ट किया है, यू आर डूइंग योर बीसीए कोर्स. ओके, एंड यू हैव ऑप्टेड फॉर कंप्यूटर एप्लीकेशन subject. Okay, so at the end of the graduation, okay, when you are completing your graduation, that time you must have the depth of knowledge of computer application subject. That is subjective competency. Okay, then the second one is linguistic competency. Whatever language you are opting to express that information of the subject, that language should be correctly used. That is linguistic competency. Okay, and the third one is what? Third one is organizational competency, systemization competency. Yes, are you noting down, students? नोट कर रहे हैं क्या आप लोग? हाँ,
यस मैम.
ओके, ठीक है. तो इफ कम्युनिकेशन में ये तीनों पॉइंट्स होंगे, सब्जेक्टिव कॉम्पिटेंसी होगी, लिंग्विस्टिक कॉम्पिटेंसी होगी और ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल कॉम्पिटेंसी होगी. ठीक है, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन मतलब क्या कि इंफॉर्मेशन को एक पर्टिकुलर पैटर्न में ऑर्गेनाइज करना. ठीक है, सिस्टमैटिक ऑर्डर में इंफॉर्मेशन को अरेंज करना, दैट इज ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल स्किल हियर. Okay, so if all these three things will be present, definitely that information will be clear. Okay, वो straightforward clear information होगी and it will convert into effective communication. Okay, why? Because जो भी expectation है उस particular activity की, वो expectation fulfill होगी. Is this point clear? ये point clear है क्या? Are you able to understand this point? Huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, see, this is very important feature of formal communication, that it is clear and effective. Okay, or it should be clear and effective. So that is the advantage of formal communication. Clear? Because as it is clear and effective, so definitely the expected results are always coming. Okay, always we can say gained. Now, next point is orderly flow of information. Okay, this is again quite beneficial aspect of formal communication as the information flows in order. Okay, passes on. Flow का मतलब क्या है? Passes on. ठीक है, तो किसी भी पर्सन को ये मतलब एक्स्ट्रा एफर्ट्स नहीं करने पड़ते कि जो है मुझ तक इंफॉर्मेशन कैसे आएगी. ठीक है, बिकॉज कंपल्सरी है इंफॉर्मेशन का ट्रांसमिशन. ठीक है, इन अ फॉर्मल कम्युनिकेशन इंफॉर्मेशन का ट्रांसमिशन कंपल्सरी है एट ऑल लेवल्स टू रिलेटेड पर्सन्स, टू ऑल रिलेटेड पर्सन्स. सो किसी को भी ये पर्सनल एफर्ट्स करने की जरूरत नहीं है कि मैं इंफॉर्मेशन कैसे गेन करूं. ठीक है, इंफॉर्मेशन इज ट्रांसमिटेड टू एवरीबडी हु इज रिलेटेड टू वर्क. ठीक है, जो भी रेलिवेंट रिलेटेड इंफॉर्मेशन है वो पर्सन्स तक ऑटोमेटिकली पहुंच जाती है. ठीक है, सो this orderly flow is again a very beneficial aspect of formal communication because no one misses the informations. Everybody receives the informations. Okay, so that is again a very beneficial aspect. Now, next is easy knowledge of source of information. Okay, because of the formal communication, this from where to get the information, that particular source knowledge becomes quite easy. ठीक है, for example students, if you want to know about the regular classes happening, what type of document you will search for? If आपको रेगुलर क्लासेस, वेरियस सब्जेक्ट्स की क्लासेस के बारे में पता करना है, ठीक है, तो आप कौन से डॉक्यूमेंट को चेक करोगे? आप बता सकते हो? फॉर्मल सिस्टम स्कूल भी उसका एग्जाम्पल है, कॉलेज भी उसका एग्जाम्पल है, यूनिवर्सिटी सिस्टम भी उसी का एग्जाम्पल है, ऑफिसेज उसके एग्जाम्पल है. तो सपोज आपको रेगुलर क्लासेस का इंफॉर्मेशन चेक करना है, तो कौन सा डॉक्यूमेंट आप चेक करोगे? कैन एनीबडी पॉइंट आउट? यस, बताइए फटाफट. अभी जैसे आपको
routine,
ये, हाँ, यस,
timetable,
टाइम टेबल. ओके, सो because of the formal communication, this knowledge of source of information becomes easy. Are you getting this point? ठीक है, यानी बिकॉज हमें पता है कि जो है टाइम टेबल एक ऐसा डॉक्यूमेंट है इंस्टीट्यूशन में. ठीक है, एकेडमिक इंस्टीट्यूशन की इफ हम बात करें तो वहां पे कौन से सब्जेक्ट की किस टाइम स्लॉट में क्लास होगी, ये इंफॉर्मेशन जो है वो मेंशन होती है. ठीक है, तो हम टाइम टेबल, इस पर्टिकुलर इंफॉर्मेशन के लिए हम टाइम टेबल ही चेक करेंगे, हम कोई और डॉक्यूमेंट चेक नहीं करेंगे. ठीक है, अब एक और एग्जांपल, सपोज यू आर हैविंग योर एग्जाम्स फ्रॉम टुमारो. ओके, सो if you want to know that on what date, in which of the timing slot I have my physics exam, ठीक है, उसके लिए आप कौन सा डॉक्यूमेंट चेक करोगे? हाँ, बिकॉज ये जो है रूटीन वर्क है, ये रूटीन वर्क है, and it is commonly followed in all the institutions. Clear? So we all are aware of all these documents as we have completed our formal studies. Okay, or we are pursuing our formal studies, so we all know that these type of documents exist in the system. So आप सपोज आपको फिजिक्स का एग्जाम का पता करना है, तो आप कौन सा डॉक्यूमेंट क्रॉस चेक करेंगे? कैन एनीबडी पॉइंट आउट? यस, बता सकते हैं आप? एग्जाम टाइम टेबल भाई, एक तो नॉर्मल रूटीन टाइम टेबल होता है, ठीक है, और एक एग्जाम टाइम टेबल होता है. ठीक है, वी आर वेल वर्स्ड कि एग्जाम टाइम टेबल भी होता है. ठीक है, वो सेपरेट है, वो रूटीन क्लास टाइम टेबल से सेपरेट है. कैसे? उसमें एग्जामिनेशन की इंफॉर्मेशन है कि किस पर्टिकुलर टाइम स्लॉट में कौन से सब्जेक्ट का एग्जाम है. ठीक है, तो एज वी नो कि जब एग्जाम है तो हमें एग्जाम टाइम टेबल अप्रोच करना है, जब रूटीन क्लासेस हो रही हैं तो हमें रूटीन क्लास टाइम टेबल अप्रोच करना है, ठीक है। और कोई चेंज ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन या कोई पर्टिकुलर स्पेशल इंफॉर्मेशन इंस्टीट्यूशन में आती है तो वो नोटिस के थ्रू आती है, सर्कुलर्स के थ्रू आती है, तो हम नोटिस को चेक करेंगे, हम सर्कुलर्स को चेक करेंगे, ठीक है। इफ हमें एडमिशन के लिए अप्लाई करना है तो वी नो दैट वी हैव टू फिल द एडमिशन फॉर्म, ठीक है। तो जो ये नॉलेज है, ठीक है, कि इंफॉर्मेशन रिसोर्स की, ठीक है, ये इजी हो जाती है फॉर्मल कम्युनिकेशन की वजह से, बिकॉज इन फॉर्मल कम्युनिकेशन देर आर लेस चेंजेस इन द फॉर्मेट्स एंड इन द मेथड्स, ओके। और इट टेक्स मच टाइम टू चेंज देम, ठीक है। तो उनको चेंज करने में भी टाइम लगता है, ऑल ऑफ अ सडन चेंजेस नहीं होते। एंड इफ चेंजेस भी होता है तो प्रीवियस और जो लेटेस्ट होता है उसमें एक शिफ्ट का एक वी कैन से एक ट्रांजिशनल वो फेज भी होता है, ठीक है, जो दोनों को बैलेंस कर सके। क्लियर? So as things are very systemized in formal communication, so the knowledge of the resource of information becomes very easy, ठीक है। पता रहता है हमको, हम सीधा जाके सपोज हमें हम घर से ये सोच के चल रहे हैं कि आज जो है क्या इवेंट होने वाला है कॉलेज में, या कमिंग वीक में जो है क्या फर्दर एक्टिविटीज होने वाली है, तो हम सीधा जाके कहाँ पे चेक करेंगे, नोटिस बोर्ड पे, कि डेफिनेटली नोटिस बोर्ड पे कोई इंफॉर्मेशन होगी नोटिस फॉर्म में, ठीक है। बिकॉज हमें वो सोर्स पता है, हमें वो सोर्स ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन पता है, तो हम उसी को अप्रोच करेंगे जाके, ठीक है। और वहां अवेलेबल भी है, बिकॉज फॉर्मल system में everything is settled, as we have discussed one of the point of formal communication, prescribed path, okay, definite path, already some definite patterns are there, methods are there, ठीक है, slots are there, those are to be followed। अब जैसे आपको you know कि जो है हम प्रमोट कैसे होंगे वन क्लास से दूसरे क्लास में, हमें पता है एग्जाम देना है, ठीक है। फॉर्मल सिस्टम में जो है एट द एंड ऑफ द ईयर, और सेमेस्टर सिस्टम में वी कैन से 2 times इन अ ईयर, ओके, वी हैव टू अपीयर फॉर द एग्जाम, सो वी आर मेंटली प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर दैट, ठीक है। और वो एग्जाम्स के थ्रू हम प्रमोट भी हो जाते हैं, वी नो, वी दैट्स व्हाई वी आर प्रिपेयर्ड, okay, so that is very important beneficial aspect of what formal communication। so parallel हम क्या करते हैं, हम जो भी लर्निंग करते हैं उसको एग्जामिनेशन परफॉर्मेंस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से भी प्रिपेयर करते हैं, कि हमें एग्जाम में भी इसको परफॉर्म करना है, तो एग्जाम में हमें कैसे परफॉर्म करना है अकॉर्डिंगली हम जो है लर्निंग करते हैं, इजंट इट? आप लोग कई बार टीचर से क्वेश्चन करते हैं ना क्लासेस में, मैम एग्जाम में कैसे कैसे क्वेश्चन आएंगे इस टॉपिक के, हाँ, डोंट यू? कभी ये क्वेश्चंस पुट अप नहीं करते आप टीचर्स को? हम्म? अरे भाई बोलो, कुसुम, लखन, रोहित, स्पीक। यस, यू आर नॉट एबल टू हियर माय साउंड? ओके फाइन, नाउ द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज this is all about the advantages of formal communication, but again every aspect has certain limiting aspects also, everything is not goody goody, okay, everything is not that much easy, ठीक है। फॉर्मल कम्युनिकेशन जो है वो भी उसी स्टेट में आता है, उसी कैटेगरी में आता है कि सब कुछ उसमें ठीक नहीं है, okay, there are some time some limiting factors, okay, which limit the work of the formal communication, which limit the output of the formal communication, okay, so that also we have to check, or something that uh, sometime reflect we can say frustration, okay, for the people who are involved in that formal communication. So that is the limiting aspect of formal communication. So what are these disadvantages or the limitations? Okay, so the first one is overload of work. Okay, what do we mean by overload of work? It means that because of the formal communication, okay, there are so many situations where all the tasks are repeated, okay, repeated many times. So because of that, there is a heavy load of work, okay, on officials, on people. Clear? So this sometime limits their performance up to some level, okay, and people get bored, okay, or people uh, lose their patience, okay, because of that extra load of work. So that is the reason that in formal system, because of the repetitive task, sometimes it is reflected that there is much uh, unwanted unnecessary work. Okay, so that is one of the limiting aspect of formal communication. You can see here, in a modern business organization, much information, many messages, and other things have to be communicated. Under formal communication, they are routed through a definite channel, and this consumes much of the time of the superiors, and thus some other important works are left unattended. Okay, so this is all the same we discussed, that because of that repetitive and definite method, okay, the informations are uh, we can say extraordinarily collected, and this creates sometime the time loss and the energy loss. Okay, so this is one of the very important limiting factor. Now next one is distortion of information. Okay, so see, sometime it happens that uh, because of the definite pattern, sorry, some of the informations are distorted. Okay, maybe if those are independently reflected, those could have been very clear, those could have been authentic. Okay, because that particular information has to be arranged in a definite pattern. Because of that, what happens, that the information is distorted, it is manipulated, or we can say that sometime many of the information, okay, those are skipped because those does not fit into the system. Is this point clear? Yes. Yes, student. Okay, and one more thing, as there are various levels of transferring the information at a workplace or in formal communication. So as that the same information transfers from one side to the other side or from one level to the other level, what happens, a slight change is reflected many a time, okay, and that slight change can change the complete information. So that is distortion of information, and that is again a very see, as we can say that hierarchy is followed in formal communication. So because of that hierarchy, okay, automatically changes are included at all levels. Okay, so as many of the changes are included at all levels in the hierarchy in that organizational communication, what happens at the end, okay, the original information completely changes because of lot of involvement at various levels. Okay, so in one manner we can say that the original information is totally distorted. Okay, it is finished. Now this is the very important thing, uh, a very important factor which is of the category limiting aspect of formal communication in different officers. Okay, see, if people are indifferent, if people are ignorant, indifferent means ignorant, okay, towards their formal obligations, towards their duties, towards their responsibilities, okay, in the formal communication, then also what happens, there is lot of problem in this type of communication. Okay, if people do not care, indifferent का मतलब क्या है, careless है, do not care, okay, irresponsible है, ठीक है, तो what will happen, those will definitely influence the effectivity of communication. Okay, and people will, we can say, people will not rely on certain type of officials. Okay, so that is again a limiting aspect of formal communication. But as these officers are, we can say, very important part of the formal communication, so one cannot exclude them, one cannot avoid them. But then also, this is one of the very important limiting factor which can create hindrance in effective communication. Okay, now let us see what are the different methods of formal communication. Okay, for example, you can see here a written job description that details your duties, your pay rate, and the rules of the company when you start a new job. Appointment letter. Okay, जैसे अपॉइंटमेंट लेटर जो है वो फॉर्मल कम्युनिकेशन का एक एग्जाम्पल है. तो अपॉइंटमेंट लेटर में ये सारी डिटेल्स होती हैं कि क्या आपका डेजिग्नेशन होगा, क्या आपका वर्क होगा, ठीक है, क्या आपका सैलरी होगा, ठीक है, फर्दर इंस्टीट्यूशन के रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस क्या है, ठीक है. तो all these basic information related to job is provided in a particular format, that is appointment letter. Okay, so that is quite effective. Okay, one need not to move here and there related to all these informations. Okay, need not to inquire many people at the same point of time for the same informations. Okay, so that is one of the very, we can say, important example of that formal communication. Now next is advice of money owing, like your electricity bill. Okay, कि जो है टाइम टू टाइम जो है हमारा इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बिल आता है, वाटर बिल आता है, रेंट्स आता है, ठीक है. तो वो क्या है, वो लाइफ को सिस्टमाइज करता है कि जो है, और ये भी इवेलुएट करने में थोड़ा सा हेल्पफुल होता है कि हम जो है वो किस लेवल का कंजम्पशन करते हैं, ठीक है, ऑफ ऑल दीज वेरियस ऑब्जेक्ट्स. ठीक है, तो इसको, इसमें सिर्फ, इसमें सपोज हमें कोई चेंजेस करना है, सपोज हमें लगता है कि इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बिल बहुत आता है, तो as that regular bill is coming to us, okay, in form of paying the consumption amount, okay, of electricity, if we will take notice of, so we will try to cut short some of the avoidable expenses of electricity bill. ठीक है, तो ये, एंड टाइम टू टाइम जो है वो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बिल के थ्रू हमें पेमेंट की इंफॉर्मेशन मिलती रहती है, अदरवाइज हमें पता ही नहीं चलेगा. ठीक है, इफ ये बिल का प्रोविजन नहीं हो, ठीक है, ये फॉर्मल कम्युनिकेशन नहीं हो, तो हमें पता ही नहीं चलेगा. ठीक है, एंड ऑल ऑफ अ सडन वन डे इट विल बी अ बर्डनसम issue. Clear? Now next is an invitation to an event that asks you to confirm whether or not you will attend. Okay, so if there is an invitation, okay, with the registration process, okay, that also confirms about the participants number. ठीक है, जो रजिस्ट्रेशन कराता है इसका मतलब वो अटेंड करेगा. ठीक है, जो रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं कराता है तो वो अटेंड नहीं करेगा. ठीक है, तो नंबर ऑफ रजिस्ट्रेशन जो है वो इस पर्टिकुलर फॉर्मल प्रोसेस से हमें पता चल जाते हैं, नंबर ऑफ पार्टिसिपेंट्स का पता चल जाता है, अकॉर्डिंगली फर्दर अरेंजमेंट्स हो जाते हैं. ठीक है, So that is again quite beneficial aspect of formal communication. A written notice that is hand delivered to your office or home. Written notice जो है उससे हमें इंफॉर्मेशन जो है वो लॉन्ग टाइम अवेलेबल रहती है. ठीक है, तो that is again beneficial for us. Now next is a bank statement that provides information about your saving account. Okay, now this formal document again helps us to check what was our expense, okay, and how much we earned, okay, and in what time slot we were spending much money, okay. So again all these informations are permanently there in form of the bank statement with us, okay. So that is we can say a very important example of formal communication, that is in writing form. A job application you write, okay, so that reflects your interest. Job application reflects the candidate's interest towards the job, ओके. अदरवाइज ऐसे तो सपोज ओरल बोलने से तो है भूल जाएगा, एम्प्लॉयर भूल जाएगा कि किस किसने अपना इंटरेस्ट रिफ्लेक्ट किया था. लेकिन इफ जॉब एप्लीकेशन है तो द पर्सन कैन रिकॉल, ओके, एंड there could be a possibility of selecting that candidate. Clear? An invitation to tender or quote for work. Okay, so these are the various tasks performed in trading. Okay, and all are done through a formal written pattern. Clear? And that helps a lot all the workforce to keep a record of all the task. Okay, so this is how the formal communication helps us in our day-to-day life, and we can say that we can't imagine our earthly life without formal communication. This is the importance. In a very precise manner, we can say about formal communication that in present times one cannot imagine his or her life, smooth life on this earth, without formal communication. Okay, so that is even these are the various examples you can check, that emails, letters, internal memorandum, okay, and the presentations, okay, time to time seminars, all these are the various forms of formal communication. Clear? So one can definitely regulate his or her work at workplace through this type of formal communication. Okay, this type of formal patterns. So I think that is ये आपका oral and written formal communication के और examples हैं. Meetings हैं, ठीक है. Meetings में scheduled meetings हैं. Unscheduled conversations are sometimes formal, particularly if they occur on the premises of firm and are related to work. Legal and commercial notices. Okay, so all these are the examples of formal communication. Now documents. As your mark sheet is the document only, is the formal document only. Okay, reports, publications, these are all the various forms of formal communication. Social media, graphics, messages. Students, you can take the image of all these examples. Okay, so with this, the topic is complete. That much is sufficient for us to know about formal communication. इतना sufficient है, इतना ही है आपके syllabus में. ठीक है, तो if you have any question, you can place your question. आपका कोई क्वेश्चन है तो आप क्वेश्चन पुट अप कर सकते हैं related to formal communication, and the topic will be there in your exam. तो आज students का strength जो है बहुत ही कम है. I don't know what you people are doing, why you are not attending the class. It can create problem later on, because we all know that in present times we have to depend on this source only. ठीक है.